If you're a woman over 50 juggling work, family, and your own well being, you might feel like you're running on empty. Today, we're going to talk about something that affects millions of women, but is often misunderstood. This thing is called burnout. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what burnout really is, why it is so prevalent in women over 50. I'm going to talk about some of the signs of burnout, my own personal experience with burnout, but more importantly, I'm going to share evidence based strategies to help you prevent and recover from burnout. So, what is burnout? Burnout isn't just about being tired. According to the World Health Organization, burnout is an occupational phenomenon that results from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Burnout does not just occur in jobs you hate, though. This is important. You can actually love your job and still experience burnout. I know that personally. Also, burnout doesn't just happen in paid jobs. You can be affected as an unpaid caregiver. I've seen this in many families of my former patients, especially when caregiving demands go on for long periods of time and it becomes overwhelming. Burnout is typically characterized by three dimensions. The first one is emotional exhaustion. This is where you feel drained and depleted. The second is depersonalization, where you feel detached or negative about your role or the job. And the third is a reduced personal accomplishment, where you feel ineffective or inadequate or unfulfilled. Why is burnout so common among women over 50? Well, there are several reasons that make this stage in life uniquely vulnerable. The first is the sandwich generation. Many women over 50, they're caring for aging parents, they're supporting adult children. This is a time of also peak career pressure. This age, women are often holding senior positions with higher demands and less flexibility. You also have menopausal transition. Hormonal changes can affect your sleep, your mood, your energy, and it can compound the stress and further worsen the symptoms of burnout. This is often overlooked, by the way, the menopausal symptoms, and can actually be easily addressed at your doctor's appointment. And finally, there's cultural expectation. Studies show that women are more likely to take on the emotional role of providing support to colleagues and family. And this can lead to chronic physical, emotional, and mental depletion. So here's what the statistics says. There was a report that showed, and I'm going to share that below, 42% of women in senior leadership positions reported feeling burnout. And this is compared to 32% of men. In healthcare, an area that I know so well, this is also an area with a large female workforce. There was a Medscape report, and it showed that physician burnout and depression was about 49% in female physicians. And when we talk about nurses, social workers, they also have similar high rates. So, what are the signs of burnout? It is important to know that burnout shows up differently than just simple fatigue. So, watch for the following: persistent exhaustion, even after rest, loss of motivation or joy of work or caregiving, irritability, difficulty concentrating or forgetfulness. There can be physical symptoms such as headache, insomnia, gastrointestinal problems. You can have withdrawal from relationships or activities that you once enjoyed. My personal burnout story occurred not so long ago. I took a leadership role at a struggling hospital. The department I inherited had poor teamwork. They were short staffed. They were in the red financially. The quality wasn't great. And I was brought in to turn things around. And I quickly did that, but it came at a cost. I worked long hours. I answered calls on the weekends when I was supposed to be off resting. I felt like I had to fix everything myself. I didn't set the necessary boundaries, and the pressure built up, and I began having headaches, insomnia, and that was added to my hormonal symptoms. It really compounded things. And so by Friday, I was drained. And on Monday, I still felt exhausted. Burnout was happening, but I didn't want to admit it. The interesting thing was I took a break from work and I immediately took on another high pressure job. That was even in worse situation. What's even worse in this particular job, along with the other limited resources and the nonstop demand, there wasn't a great support from leadership. Within a short time, I turned it around financially. But again, I wasn't sleeping well. I was working maybe 16 hours a day, wasn't eating well, wasn't working out. My social interaction and connection basically was zero. And what I learned was that rest is not enough to take care of burnout. You actually have to deal with the underlying issue. Burnout will not fix itself, right? You have to take action. And again, it's more than just simply resting, taking a break, or doing yoga. So here are some evidence-based strategies that worked for me, and it's out there and it worked for others. Reframe how you work. So rethink about what work means for you. There have been research that shows that your mindset can significantly impact your risk of burnout. So the strategy would be to take time to reflect on the meaning behind what you do. Whether you're in a paid role or a caregiver role, what you want to do is to figure out how you get a sense of purpose and the legacy of your role to help prevent exhaustion. Do a job crafting check-in. So what can I change? What can I reframe? What can I delegate? Right? So example, get better team huddles. This will improve clarity and reduce chaos. Reframe your problems. If you have short staffing and financial challenges, look at them as challenges to solve, to build your resilience, right? View these as opportunities to share your expertise and build understanding. If you're drowning in paperwork, again, think of it as this is a way to ensure quality and advocate for better systems. And don't forget to delegate. I had a problem with this. Hand off certain tasks to others so you can focus on what you do best. It's going to lighten the load and it's going to help to prevent burnout. So by changing how you see work, by reframing, you can actively choose what to adjust, what to reframe, what to delegate. And this will boost efficiency and improve outcome. You'll feel more energized doing it. The second thing is to increase autonomy. Improving autonomy reduces burnout. It gives you more control over your tasks, which can boost motivation, job satisfaction, and give you a sense of ownership. These are key factors in lowering stress and emotional exhaustion. There was a 2019 study that showed that low control over your schedule, your task, was actually among the strongest predictor of burnout. So here's a strategy. Take back some control. Burnout often gets worse when we feel powerless. So identify one area, whether it's big or small, where you can reclaim some control. Maybe it's simply adjusting your hours, requesting a hybrid schedule, prioritizing projects, or setting clear boundaries. And if you feel this is something you can't do on your own, don't hesitate to bring on your supervisor to help you with that. I'll tell you, for example, when I noticed some of my inpatient physicians were experiencing signs of burnout, we got creative. We shifted from a 5-day work week schedule to a 4-day week schedule. And this meant that one day was going to be heavier, but they were okay with it because they had additional time off to recover and to be with their family. And they really loved that we took the time to look into the schedule because typically this is not something that's done on this inpatient setting. I can tell you years later, I'm no longer at that institution. I talked to that staff and they kept that schedule and they told me how valuable it's been. Next is to clarify the role. Again, initially, our doctors were juggling different roles, inpatient, outpatient, consult. They had a lot of different responsibilities. They were switching gears, feeling overwhelmed, and in my opinion, not always doing each role to their best because they were so all over the place. And what we did was we sat down and we said, okay, we're going to identify the single primary role for each physician. So this is your role as a consulting physician. You're an inpatient physician. If you want to take on other things, they are secondary. And that was so transformative for them. The next thing is what we call the same bus, but the right seat. And this is where in the department, you can have, again, and it's sort of what I just talked about. You can shift responsibility or environment. So someone might not be doing well in one environment, but you shift them to another and they do well and improve job satisfaction. The third thing is mindfulness based stress reduction. This is an evidence based program that uses things like meditation, body awareness, and yoga to reduce stress. It helps with burnout by improving emotional regulation, reducing anxiety, and enhancing focus and resilience. There have been plenty of studies, including one in JAMA and also in the Annals of Internal Medicine, that shows that this type of program can reduce burnout scores significantly. So the strategy is to consider an 8-week program. Many of these are available online, and 8-week is going to be very immersive and will be very important in you having a consistent program that can help to rewire your brain and your stress response. Number 4 is to address your sleep. We know that women over 50, for many reasons, can have issues with sleep. And when you compound that with burnout, with hormonal changes, it just makes the burnout symptoms and recovery much more difficult. So start with a better sleep habit. My sleep health playlist that's here on YouTube can help you. If sleep problems persist, talk with your doctor. Also, look into cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. We've had studies that show that this has improved sleep and reduced emotional exhaustion better than just sleep hygiene alone. So take a look at that, prioritize your sleep because sleep is not a luxury. It's your lifeline, especially when you're dealing with burnout. The fifth thing is to cultivate high quality social support. Poor social connection can worsen burnout by increasing feelings of isolation, reducing emotional support, and limiting your collaboration. And this will make stress feel heavier and recovery from burnout harder. There was a Harvard study that looked at warm relationships and showed that they're among the strongest predictor of well-being and resilience. So the strategy here is to prioritize relationships that energize you rather than drain you. Even brief, authentic connections can reduce stress hormones. Number 6 is to get professional help. If symptoms are severe, seeking help from a psychologist, a coach, a therapist, anyone who specializes in burnout can be a game changer. A structured intervention, combining different therapy with lifestyle modification and organizational change can yield the most sustainable recovery. Listen, burnout isn't a personal failure. I know that for sure. It is often a mismatch between demands and resources. By understanding what drives burnout and using evidence based strategies to build resilience, you can protect your health, your joy, and your purpose in this next chapter of your life. If you like this video, you will definitely like the next one on workplace wellness over 50. So check that out. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with all women navigating midlife transition.